Salutations everyone, this is Razor giving you guys some Battlefield 1 open beta gameplay here as a medic, and I gotta say, this game's pretty fun. It's pretty darn fun. With my concerns that came out during the alpha, there were some things that I said like, okay, well this is probably going to be fixed, this is probably going to be fixed, and they were. There were the fire rate issues on some of the guns were fixed. There were some weird animations that would stop and stutter and things like that, and I didn't really see that at all in the beta. They changed the way that you unlock items. Pausing the game in the beta would take like, no joke, like 20 seconds to actually pop up and do something. So there were some just like really weird, janky new problems that the beta had. And the connection wasn't as stable, but the hit detection was better. A lot of the glitches in the things didn't show up as much. For the most part, you could use the same guns in the beta that you could in the alpha. Obviously, we have here the Sinai Desert, and we have the Rush game mode, so we got to check that out, as well as, you know, the War Train and the horses. The horses are pretty fun, I gotta say. They are quite powerful, and oh, just look at this dude's flamethrower. This is the best looking flamethrower I have ever seen in a video game. It looks gorgeous. It's so realistic, so realistic. Obviously, this entire game is gorgeous. It's the best looking Battlefield ever, and in a World War I setting, it just looks absolutely crazy. But these flamethrowers are gorgeously accurate in their depiction here. I just gotta say, that's something that when I first saw it was like, whoa, that's better than any other flamethrower in video game history. But the horses are really fun. I don't like using vehicles in Battlefield or any game for the most part, because when I play a first-person shooter, I like shooting in the first person. That's kind of my thing, and I'm good at it. But I will sometimes use vehicles to get to the objective, to start off the game, to get out of my own spawn. Instead of having to run for 3-4 minutes, I can just hop in a vehicle, get to where I need to be, and then jump out. And typically I would choose the buggy or the motorcycle in other Battlefield games that were small and fast and would get me there and wouldn't have weapons. So for the horse, that's pretty much the same situation, except the horse, it's a tanky motherfucker. I never saw a horse get killed. These things can take a beating, like no joke. You can plant dynamite on him, then blow it up, and the horse is still cool. He's still cool with you. Also, they're relatively fast. The vehicles in this game aren't as fast as maybe some other Battlefield games, but that keeps with the realism. But the horse is fast enough, like if you're a paratrooper or any other vehicle, you get your own unique weapons setup and things when you choose that to be in a vehicle. Like if you're in a tank, you'll get a special gun. If you're in a plane and then you hop out, you'll have a gun that you can otherwise not get in the game. And unfortunately, every single one of these loadouts has had really fun, really cool, unique guns that I wish I could use outside of that. But on the horse, you get this bolt action that was really accurate, really powerful, and you couldn't aim down sights on a horse, but you can no scope with relatively decent accuracy. But with a sword on the horse, you could just wreck shop. Absolutely wreck shop. I've seen some crazy clips on people on horses. Also, the horse will run you the fuck over and kill you just like a motorcycle or a Jeep would. No questions asked. I've shot a rider off of a horse, and the horse keeps on going, and it runs me over real good. So the horse is pretty damn strong and pretty fun as well, and I had some fun there with the horse. And you might be able to see here, if you compare it to the alpha gameplay, that the hit detection is a wee bit better. The sniping really didn't change at all in the beta. It still doesn't have much bullet drop. The same snipers were available, except there's, I think, there's a new sniper that you could use here in the beta in 2 different variants. I forget what it was called. But it was pretty powerful, and none of the snipers really have much of a drop off. So but you could zero in, you could cycle in on in the beta, so you couldn't in the alpha, zero in to say 75, 100, 200, 300 meters. I believe it maxed out as. Which makes sense, for this era. You can't, zero in for, 1,000-yarder like you can with, like an L96 or an SSR or something like that. So, the Rush game mode, always a ton of fun. It's my favorite game mode in Battlefields, and I really like it. Even though I did warm up a lot to Conquest in Battlefield 4 and in Hardline. And as far as, is this game a purchase? Is this game going to be really, really fun and, have a long tail? And, should you get the DLC? Is it worth it like it was back in Battlefield 4? And I think it's kind of hard to measure. For me, and I think a lot of people, we were a bit surprised with the World War I setting. So, of course, this, gave us different guns and vehicles and maps. Like, we've never seen a map like this. So, they took a little bit of a risk, but also I think people really appreciated the change. It wasn't a modern military shooter. It wasn't World War II, even though a lot of people were clamoring for that in the first-person shooter genre. We want World War II back. We want to, relive the old good days, but, in an updated manner. But I don't think anybody was expecting World War I. I don't think anyone was clamoring for it. So with that, of course we have limits in technology. These guns aren't going to fire as many rounds. They're not going to be as accurate. The reloads are going to take, a day and a half, as you can see right here. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. And we can fire again, but, it's only 12, it's only 10 rounds. It's not, 20 or 30 or what have you. And, the fully automatics is a little bit more keen to what you're used to, even though, they're not going to be as accurate. You're not going to have as many modifications on a weapon when it comes to sights or magazines. But, there are some attachments. We have rifle attachments. There are some marksman variants of guns that, will have sights so you can be more accurate. Or maybe they don't have sights on some variants on, say, like sniper rifles, so maybe you can do better at close quarters. I don't know. So there are definitely differences, but there's similarities. You still heal the same way. You get ammo the same way. You revive teammates the same way. The tanks solidify themselves as the powerhouse on the field. They operate in the same fashion and they have the same impact on the game. There are planes, but they aren't going to be able to impact the game in the same fashion as jets or helicopters especially would in other Battlefield games. So it definitely plays different, but it's quite unique in the experience and the technology available, and the look and feel of the game. It's very much different, but it's still at its core a Battlefield game. So for me, while I did like Hardline, it offered something a little bit different with the areas that you would fight in. Most of the weapons handled and were mostly the same models and things that we were used to, but there were some differences. We got some different areas to fight in, different vehicles, but was in some people's minds a bit of a disappointment because it wasn't Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 5. And while I really enjoy Battlefield 4, Hardline definitely had its fun, but I didn't find myself playing it as much as I did Battlefield 4, by a pretty decent margin. I think I might have played more of it in the beta than I did, when the game proper came out. Maybe that's exaggeration. I don't know. I'd have to look at the numbers. But I don't know if Battlefield 1 is going to be more of a Battlefield 4 experience for me, where I'm, just playing it a lot, having a ton of fun, making montages and gameplay commentaries over it. Or like Hardline, where, I play the beta, I have a ton of fun, I buy the game, and I basically don't play it all that much, even though it was fun, and it had, different things that you could do with it, and had its own little role in gaming. And that's the one and only time I get revived in the entirety of the beta. Yeah, I like being a medic, and I like reviving. I mostly like being the medic here just because of the weapons that are available. They're single shot, semi-automatic, marksman rifles, and that's typically what I go for. That's what I excel at. And healing people is just an added bonus, and that's the one time I ever got healed in the beta. But it was similar in Hardline. In the Hardline beta, I was revived I think 2 or 3 times, and that was it. I don't know if it's because it's an open beta and you have all these non-Battlefield players playing the beta, but you're not going to have people healing you much in alphas and betas, so I can expect that. There'll be more of it and when the game actually comes out. So it's a fun game. I like it. It's unique, looks gorgeous, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be a purchase for me, but I don't know if it's going to be like Hardline where it's a fun game and I just don't play it, or if it's going to fill that Battlefield itch that I have. I think I would have preferred a Battlefield 5, make it just like Battlefield 4, make it a modern shooter with all the cool, newer weapons and all the weird different terrains that we can fight on, and that DLC I think is the best DLC bang for your buck that you get in gaming is the Battlefield Pass, because you get like 4 or 5 content drops, you get a bunch of maps, you get a bunch of guns, a bunch of vehicles, and tools at your disposal with every single DLC drop, and maybe have some unique achievements that let you play the game in a certain fashion, like trying to blow up a ton of boats to get that one achievement, or what have you. I think the Battlefield 4, that DLC was perfect. You got your bang for your buck, and you got DLC for a long period of time, and they even gave us free DLC, even after the paid DLC was over, and that was really cool. And even right now, I think you can get a lot of Battlefield 4 DLC for free, and Hardline DLC for free as well. They're changing out what they have for free at the time. So I don't know how much of this game I'm gonna play. Of course, it would be competing with Overwatch, and when a Mass Effect Andromeda comes out, that's going to take over my life for quite a bit. So it's kind of difficult, because we've seen really good games kind of fall to the wayside to more popular games within that genre, or when it's just a busy season, like every year when it comes to the October-November lineup of games, there are a lot of really good ones that you just can't get to. And there are still some games from like 3 years ago I haven't even got to. But when it comes to a multiplayer focused game like Battlefield, it's something that keeps your attention quickly and for quite some time. So I don't know what it's going to be for me. Pretty sure I'm going to buy it, and because it's got a lot of cool fun to it. It's a Battlefield game. I like Battlefield. I'm good at Battlefield. But I thought I would have played Hardline a ton, but I don't even think I had 10 hours in that game proper, or at least not more so than that. So that's the end of the game. I get the high score, and the score per minute, and the medic score, because I'm the best. I think it's 14-4 is my final score here. Let's take a good look-see. 14-5, so always planting those bombs, because that's what you do to win the game. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments below about what you thought about the beta and whether you're going to pick up this game. I'll see you later.